It's the Al Travis Show. We always love having Heather Dugan on. HeatherDugan.com. Check out our books and stuff. She is our relationship expert. Heather, how are you doing?
I am doing fine. How about you?
I need you today.
Yeah.
I need you. Yeah.
I like the music.
Things are going weird in Minnesota. I mean, everywhere,
Yeah.
but in Minnesota, we've read this microcosm, and I'd like to talk to you about how I should talk to folks.
Okay.
Real quick, what I'm talking about, you realize my buddy Senator John Hoffman and his wife got shot. The
Right.
Hortmans, Speaker Emeritus, and her husband shot and killed.
Yeah.
That was 8 weeks ago, 9 weeks ago now, maybe 10. Middle of that, some naked guy is running in the Capitol, goes to the hospital. They think he's not harmed anybody, goes right back. It's a whole thing. And
Yeah.
now, just a week ago or so, 2 weeks, this young man, woman, transitioned guy, gal, goes and shoots up the Catholic school. I presume
Kids.
you
Yeah.
kills 2, 18 others are injured. I mean, it's just, there's just so much.
It
And
is.
now, our governor is going to call a special session to get rid of guns, or do the best he can to get rid of guns. And now, so it's just we're at a boiling point with all that's going on. Everybody's feelings are raw. How do you talk about it? How do you don't? We're walking around words like transgender. We're walking around gun control. Where everybody's worrying what everybody else is thinking, and the government wants to push that instead of waiting and let's have a calm discussion. We're going to do it right now while the water's hot. That's my opinion.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I get to, good news, bad news, discuss this every day. I get senators on, representatives on. I have the ability to maybe get out some of my feelings. I try to do it respectfully. I really do. But I also know by doing that, some people hate me. Some people say, right on, Al, and some I'm off bubble as well. How do we do this? How would you suggest a guy do this? I want to be honest with people. This is my feeling on it. This is where I'm at. I'm not judging anybody else for being on the other side. But how do we go about that? This is so hot. And again, besides mental health, you got transgenderism, you've got shooting of little kids, you got, if we didn't have guns, it's like every hot spot we got in America right now is happening.
Yeah. Right.
So what am I to do? What do I do between work? What do I do if I'm at my house and Thanksgiving's coming up?
So many layers to this, Al. It's and it's it's not guns, it's what guns stand for, right? In all this, and where people, for some it's like almost a it's your culture, it's what you've lived with this. And
let me share this quick. A guest said this, which I think is so spot on. I never thought about it before.
Mm-hmm.
One person's guns rights, Al getting to keep him, is his safe spot, right? I can protect me and my family. Right. But that's also the other person's, I don't feel safe because you have guns. So it's whose safety is it? And if you look at it like that, it makes your friends seem what their side they're on. It's like, oh, I get that. Al wants to save his family. You don't want, I'm not saying you don't want to save your family, but you feel less safe because Al's got guns in his house. It's the exact same feeling on the other side of the fence.
It is. And you know what? That goes back to that whole about finding those commonalities. It really, we have the same value there, but we see a different way to make it, to protect it. So, and there's so many factors going into this. And then you throw in any sort of politics, it becomes, it has like all these other attachments to it. So you are talking to both sides of this, and you want to be honest. You want to hear their honest opinion.
Absolutely.
And their thoughts. But there's nobody is going to get everything they want in this situation, right? I mean, chances are very good. Hopefully. I mean, nobody should get everything they want, because then that leaves a lot of people feeling unsafe, right?
Yeah.
Either side. Maybe half of Minnesota or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah. So it requires.
I'm sorry. Here's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
If we could get the politics out of it, can we at least have the conversation? And the politics are going to talk. We're going to have but can we do it and still respect each other enough to say, okay, I don't agree with Al, but back to it's his safety thing and versus mine. Yeah. I don't disrespect him anymore. It's almost the yelling, you're so wrong. Using kids died because of your, and all of a sudden it's this grandiose conversation that can we not simmer it down somehow?
everybody is speaking out of fear when you get to that yelling zone. It's everybody's, they can't break it down because they're petrified about getting exactly what they don't want. But I think you're right about the conversation part, dialing down into what it is, what it means to you personally. For you, there's, that there are these people out there that are a little unhinged in their situations where, and I got to say, I am going to bear country. And I did not carry a gun, but I'm carrying my bear spray. I know. Well, that's another story. Yeah, petrified. But, I also, and I'm not a large woman, I mean, if I do my pull-ups and everything, I'm strong, but there's definitely, if somebody came up to me with a gun, I would be at a disadvantage,
Oh, yeah.
And for most of us, we would be. Anybody has a gun. Oh. So, the deeper issues we were talking earlier, the mental health aspect, how do we find what's going on with people, at a level that really is, that is permissible and that is usable and that we can do something good with. We walk by people every day and we don't say hello. How are we going to know what's going on with the people that really are at risk? Well, and that's one factor. But
I think we have to get more involved with people as well.
Yep.
The shooter of the Hoffmans and the Hortmans, he had friends, he worked at places, and yet he's ordering the weird mask. He's ordering a police outfit. He's putting in his car to make it look like. No one noticed anything. No one thought, why are you going to Halloween? What are you doing, Johnny? And I don't know what his name is. You know what I'm saying? We got to get involved. The naked guy at the Capitol. Right. Now, he gets picked up in the Capitol naked, saying he's the governor, which he wasn't. So you bring him to the hospital, and they're like, well, he's not a harm to anybody. Let him go. If you're naked in the Capitol saying you're the governor and that does not get you a visit with Dr. Phil of the hospital, we're doing something wrong with mental health.
Right.
Yeah.
And you said this happened like 3 times. I mean, they should have.
The 3 times they let him go, he kept going back.
They should have at least made him take a towel with them the 3rd time, I mean, it's just ridiculous.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know he was naked all 3 times. That's always that's funny. Okay. Yeah. But that. Oh gosh! Not trying to make fun of this, but back to the mental health thing. Just like this transgendered person who did the shootings, somebody somewhere, and I'm saying just because he's transgender, it's a mental thing. But he was writing pictures in his book and drawing the thing and making his manifesto. I don't know about you. You have a manifesto? I don't have a manifesto. When you start writing manifestos, parents should start looking at. What do you mean, your diary? No, my manifesto. Look into that. Am I?
There's definitely connotations there, but I think people are, correct me if you will, but we are so busy. It is easy to forget. It is easier to push it, to look away and think, oh, I want to remember to look at that later. And yet later's too late. I think that we have to take personal responsibility a little more. I think that hospitals, I think everybody is in such turmoil right now. It's really difficult to put your feet down anywhere.
I got to go to break. I don't disagree with you, except if it's your children. I would imagine Heather Dugan knew what they're doing, when they're doing it, how they do it. Not everything was perfect. I get that. I get friends might, Bob's a little crazy, but I can overlook it. I get that, but I think the family's got more here than.
Gotta ask the questions.
Yes, thank you. We'll go to break. We'll talk some more about it right after this. She's Heather Dugan, heatherdugan.com. She's Heather Dugan, heatherdugan.com. She's a relationship expert. And I guess I'm going to bust you down a little bit here. So how do you help us have these discussions in our family, in our extended family, because Thanksgiving's coming, in our workplace? A lot of this is work stuff because it happens, during the day, the next day you're at work. Even the feelings of other parents who drop their kids off at Catholic schools or, whatever.
Right.
They got to be like, holy Hannah, what am I doing? How do we broach that? What do you suggest we do?
Right. Well, I think you have to open up any conversation with, we all want to be safe. We all want to know that we're safe. Right.
There you go.
And I think acknowledging that your shared value there is an important first step. Right. because then you've come together on one thing at least. But then I think you have to ask, if you want somebody to understand you, you sometimes have to be the leader in asking the questions. Why do I'm assuming, knowing your position, that you want to know why people, understanding that you want to feel safe, why would you not want someone to be able to protect your child with a gun if need be?
Yeah.
Right.
If need be. Yeah, correct.
Yeah. And then their response might be anything from, I don't think my child will be in that kind of danger, to I can't imagine that I can't see if they have, if they have the gun, how do I know they're really going to protect my child? There are a lot
or the child can get the gun and use it the wrong way.
Exactly. All those kinds of answers. Right. And then you just have to, I think you have to just be willing to let go a little bit and go deeper. It's uncomfortable. Because you're talking about things that nobody wants to happen, but understanding, that it's a bigger issue than anybody you have this conversation with, you're not going to solve it in that moment.
Well, see, and we don't have the ability to solve it. That's what's so funny about it. We get so dug into our side on this, and we have no real say. We voted who's there, and they're going to make some laws of something, and that can change the next time it comes up. You and I don't get to stop crazy people.
No. And I think that's where you also need to talk about, so how do we determine where are we falling short in our school systems, in terms of identifying in mental health and in just healthcare in general? Where are we leaving these openings for this to happen? And that's something that you can begin, I think, to find places that we can at least improve. There's so much room for improvement on all this. Other countries haven't had this degree, of gun violence, although it's disturbing to see that it's becoming. I mean, 10 years ago, it wasn't out in other countries at all. We were the outliers. And, which leads to the next thing. I think social media has had a big part of this growing impact. People see that, a gun story is a headline, right?
So I think you are so right on it. And the ease of information, even your phone in your back pocket, if that's on social media. This young man was very obsessed with ranking his favorite child shooters. I mean, that's not normal.
That is not.
But 10 years ago, 20 years ago, when the internet started, when I was a kid, if you had suicidal ideology, it was, how do I do this to me? And somehow we've got to, I'm going to do this to me, but what's my exit? How do I get out with some, bangs? With a splash. And it's weird. That's got to be because the guns are the same. And I'm, again, forget. That hasn't changed. It's why we use them or how we use them that it's just gotten weird. And I'm blaming the internet because, again, if it was my age back in the day, I'd have to go to the library, get a microfiche out to look up the last.
Exactly. But when you're talking about wanting to make a splash, these are people that want their life to have meaning. That is what,
even in the negative.
In the negative, because they obviously at that point they don't feel like their life has had meaning. And there's so many, and I mean, that is something we all want our lives to have meaning. I think it's important that, maybe that's where these people that are isolated and lonely, we've talked about that many times.
Oh, yeah.
It's connecting people. When you are alone, your head does bad things in your body. It will tell you bad messages. Nobody is there to say, that's not normal. That's you're distorting. And that's all in the Friendship Upgrade book, actually. Yep. But I think that we now, we can Google anything we want to know to make anything we want to know happen. And the way to live on, apparently, seems to be to be, viral somewhere. And that's what people are looking for. And yet the most meaningful lives are the ones that somebody says, I remember how he made me feel when we talked about this. It's the individual person to person.
See, and I think back to that internet, I only have a minute, but also the ability to find like-minded folks. 100 years ago, when you might have bad feelings, but you didn't have 25 people. Oh, you're right there, Al. They did you wrong. You can go into these weird groups and find other people who say, I'm weird group A, I'm joining that. And then it's a circle of friends saying, you're right. You really do got a crappy life. Whatever. I mean, the ability to get together online has not always changed everything for the good.
Right, right. I mean, it can be very affirming when you find people that, and you're aimed in a positive direction,
Yeah.
and you're finding you're not the only one feeling this way. But you're right. It also can distort. You begin to think the world's a lot darker and a lot
Yeah.
meaner than it really truly is, and it provides permissions that you don't really that are very negative, and are can cause catastrophes.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, completely agree. I have to go. We're out of time, but I love having you on this program. I thank you for taking the time. This is not a fun thing to talk about. The Friendship Upgrade is a
No.
fabulous book. It's highly entertaining, fun to read. But I appreciate you coming here. You're my relationship gal, and I appreciate the advice and how to handle this. This is new territory for all of us. It's just getting crazier
It
and
is.
crazier.
Well, keep
And I
thinking
appreciate you
about
settling it down.
Minnesota.
Thank
Yeah,
you. I
yeah.
appreciate you a ton, Heather. She's Heather Dugan. HeatherDugan.com is her email address or her website. Take a look at the book. She's fantastic. Want to get her as a speaker? She does that as well. Heather Dugan at HeatherDugan.com.